The astral pavilion gleamed like a crystalline jewel suspended in the inky blackness of space. Massive viewing windows wrapped around its circular structure, offering breathtaking views of distant nebulae in swirling galaxies. Tonight, the pavilion buzzed with an electric anticipation that transcended species, cultures, and planetary boundaries. Commander Zara Kovacs stood at the entrance, her cybernetic eye scanning the arriving delegates. Her human heritage was evident in her sharp features, but the metallic implant and adaptive skin patches spoke of generations of space adaptation. She adjusted her diplomatic corps uniform, a sleek silver-blue ensemble that shimmered with adaptive camouflage technology. "Welcome to the 10th Galactic Libation Symposium," an AI announcer's voice resonated through the pavilion's communication arrays. Representatives from over 73 known sentient species have gathered to determine the ultimate cosmic beverage. Near the central platform, a group of alien delegates clustered together. Xantok, a silicon-based life form from the crystalline nexus, shifted its prismatic body in what passed for excitement among its kind. Beside Xantok stood Lyra Mbenga, a human xenoanthropologist whose decades of interstellar research had earned her unprecedented respect among alien civilizations. "The stakes are higher than ever," Lyra whispered to Xantok, her voice a mix of academic excitement and competitive edge. "This isn't just about a drink. It's about cultural representation, scientific achievement, and the very essence of interstellar diplomacy." The competition's rules were deceptively simple. Each species would present their most potent, most unique alcoholic or intoxicating beverage. A panel of judges, representing different physiological categories, would evaluate not just the drink's potency, but its cultural significance, preparation complexity, and potential pharmacological impact. Commander Kovacs stepped forward, her cybernetic eye scanning the crowd. "Delegates," she announced, "the Galactic Libation Symposium is more than a drinking contest. It's a celebration of diversity, creativity, and the extraordinary ways different species express themselves." A ripple of anticipation swept through the crowd. Delegates from gas clouds, crystalline structures, liquid-based life forms, and carbon-based organisms alike leaned forward. Some communicated through electromagnetic pulses, others through complex biochemical exchanges, but all shared a universal language of excitement. From the methane clouds of Rigel 9 came a delegation that looked like living, swirling mists. Their representative, designated as Stormweaver, communicated through intricate wind patterns that the universal translators struggled to interpret. Its beverage was rumored to be a distillation of lightning and frozen methane, capable of inducing visions that spanned multiple dimensional planes. Across the pavilion, a delegation from the bioluminescent coral worlds of Hydra Prime presented their entry. Their drink was a living culture, a symbiotic liquid that changed color and consistency based on the emotional state of its consumer. Preliminary reports suggested it could temporarily allow interspecies empathic connections. Lyra Mbenga noticed a newcomer, a solitary figure standing apart from the other delegates. Dressed in an environmental suit that seemed to absorb and reflect the surrounding light, the individual appeared neither completely organic nor entirely synthetic. When their gaze met Lyra's, she felt a strange resonance, as if communication was happening on a level beyond verbal or visual exchange. "First challenge begins in 30 solar cycles," the AI announced. "Preparation stations are now active. May the most extraordinary beverage win." The astral pavilion hummed with anticipation. This was more than a competition. This was a testament to the universe's infinite capacity for wonder, creativity, and unexpected connections. Commander Kovacs allowed herself a slight smile. Humans had come a long way from their first tentative steps into interstellar diplomacy. Now, they were not just participants but key architects of a cosmic dialogue that transcended traditional boundaries. The first round of the ultimate cosmic drink challenge was about to begin, and nothing would ever be the same again. The preparation chambers of the astral pavilion transformed into a kaleidoscope of scientific marvel and cultural exhibition. Each species constructed intricate presentation stations that were as much performance art as they were beverage preparation areas. Stormweaver from the methane clouds began the first demonstration. Its gaseous form coalesced around a containment vessel that looked like a fractal sculpture of pure crystalline precision. Tendrils of electrically charged mist began to condense, spinning and compressing with mathematical perfection. The Tempest essence, the universal translator interpreted Stormweaver's wind patterns, is harvested from the heart of quantum lightning storms on Rigel 9. Each drop contains the memory of 1,000 atmospheric cycles. Lyra Mbenga watched in fascination. Her xenoanthropological training kicked in, analyzing not just the beverage but the entire cultural ritual surrounding its creation. The Rigel 9 delegation treated the drink preparation as a sacred ceremony, each movement calculated and laden with millennia of tradition. Commander Zara Kovacs moved between the preparation stations, her cybernetic eye capturing and analyzing every minute detail. She paused at the bioluminescent coral delegation station, where living liquid shifted through a spectrum of colors that seemed to defy conventional optics. The coral representative, a being that looked like an intricate, living piece of stained glass, began to explain their offering. Empathic resonance, they communicated through a series of color pulses and vibrational frequencies, is more than a drink. It is a bridge between consciousness. As the presentation continued, the mysterious figure from the previous session, the one in the adaptive environmental suit, remained conspicuously silent. Xantok, the silicon-based life form, seemed particularly intrigued by this newcomer, its crystalline body rotating slightly to maintain a continuous observation. Suddenly, a commotion erupted from the far side of the preparation chamber. A delegation from the gravitational nexus, beings composed of dense matter that could manipulate local gravitational fields, had encountered an unexpected challenge with their beverage preparation. Their drink, supposedly distilled from the compressed essence of a neutron star's event horizon, began to destabilize. The containment field flickered, causing localized gravity anomalies that made nearby objects float and spin in unpredictable patterns. Containment breach imminent, the pavilion's emergency AI announced in multiple linguistic frequencies. All delegates, prepare for potential gravitational disturbance. Lyra Mbenga moved with practiced efficiency. Her years of interstellar research had prepared her for exactly these kinds of unexpected scenarios. She activated a portable stabilization field from her research kit, helping to mitigate the gravitational fluctuations. Commander Kovacs was already coordinating a response. Her cybernetic systems interfaced directly with the pavilion's emergency protocols, calculating potential outcomes and containment strategies within milliseconds. The mysterious suited figure made an unexpected move. Without seeming to touch anything, they projected a field of energy that immediately began to stabilize the gravitational anomaly. The gravitational nexus delegation looked simultaneously impressed and unsettled. Xantok's prismatic body pulsed with what could only be described as excitement. Fascinating, the silicon-based lifeform communicated through a series of light refractions. The challenge has only just begun, and already the unexpected occurs. As the gravitational crisis subsided, it became clear that this was more than a simple drinking competition. Each species was revealing not just their most potent beverage, but the very essence of their technological and cultural capabilities. The first round of presentations concluded with more questions than answers. The judges, a diverse panel representing different physiological and cognitive spectra, began their initial assessments. Commander Kovacs caught Lyra's eye and gave a slight nod. Something significant was brewing, and it wasn't just the extraordinary drinks being prepared. The ultimate cosmic drink challenge was proving to be far more complex than anyone could have anticipated. As the competition progressed, whispers began to circulate through the astral pavilion. Rumors of a drink so legendary, so potentially dangerous, that its mere existence was shrouded in interstellar myth. The mysterious figure in the adaptive environmental suit moved with calculated precision, seemingly uninterested in the ongoing presentations. Yet, their presence generated an inexplicable tension that even the most seasoned diplomats could not ignore. Xantok, the silicon-based life form, approached Lyra Mbenga with what passed for urgency in its crystalline communication. The quantum cipher, it transmitted through a series of light refractions and vibrational frequencies, speaks of a brew beyond conventional understanding. Commander Zara Kovac's cybernetic eye picked up subtle energy signatures that didn't match any known species' technological profile. Something was different. Something was brewing, quite literally. A new delegation entered the preparation chamber. They appeared to be neither fully organic nor entirely technological, a hybrid species from the outer rim of the Andromeda sector. Their representative, identified only as Nexus 9, carried a containment vessel that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Preliminary warning, the pavilion's AI announced in a tone that suggested genuine concern. Incoming beverage preparation exceeds standard safety protocols. Lyra Mbenga's xenoanthropological training went into overdrive. She recognized the signs of a potentially paradigm-shifting cultural exposition. This was more than a drink, this was a statement, a challenge to everything known about interstellar communication and biological limitations. The Nexus 9 representative began the preparation process. The containment vessel started to emit a low-frequency vibration that made even the most robust technological systems flutter momentarily. Nearby delegates instinctively took a step back. The quantum resonance elixir, Nexus 9 announced, is harvested from the intersection of multiple dimensional planes. Each molecule contains the potential of infinite possibilities. Commander Kovacs activated her most advanced scanning protocols. The readings were impossible. The drink seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously, liquid, plasma, and something entirely unclassifiable. It shifted and changed, defying the fundamental laws of physics. Xantok's prismatic body began to oscillate with what could only be described as intellectual excitement. A brew that challenges the very concept of existence, the silicon-based life form communicated. Remarkable. But not everyone was impressed. The gravitational nexus delegation, still recovering from their previous gravitational mishap, looked decidedly uncomfortable. The bioluminescent coral representatives began to pulse with warning colors, deep crimsons and threatening ultraviolets. The mysterious suited figure from earlier made a subtle movement. For the first time, a hint of communication emerged, a wavelength that suggested both warning and intrigue. Caution, the pavilion's AI interjected. Quantum resonance elixir presents potential interdimensional contamination risks. Lyra Mbenga stepped forward. Her years of research had prepared her for moments of extraordinary discovery. This is more than a competition, she announced to the gathered delegates. This is a moment of potential scientific breakthrough. The Nexus 9 representative completed the elixir's preparation. The containment vessel seemed to breathe, to pulse with an inner light that defied conventional understanding. It was a drink, yes, but it was also a window into realities beyond current comprehension. Commander Kovacs made a decision. Preliminary safety protocols will be activated, she commanded. But the presentation will continue. The tension in the astral pavilion reached a crescendo. The quantum resonance elixir sat before the judges, a challenge to everything they thought they knew about beverages, about science, about the very nature of existence. The ultimate cosmic drink challenge had just entered uncharted territory. The aftermath of the quantum resonance elixir's presentation sent shockwaves through the astral pavilion. Diplomatic tensions began to simmer, transforming the drink competition into a high-stakes political minefield. Representatives from the gravitational nexus demanded an immediate investigation. Their delegation leader, a being composed of compressed matter that shifted between solid and plasma states, approached the judges' panel with unmistakable aggression. The quantum resonance elixir represents a clear violation of interdimensional diplomatic protocols, the gravitational nexus representative thundered, its form crackling with barely contained energy. Such a substance could destabilize entire galactic ecosystems. Lyra Mbenga found herself unexpectedly at the center of the unfolding drama. Her expertise in xenoanthropology made her the most qualified neutral observer. She studied the Nexus 9 representative, noting how they remained absolutely still, a stark contrast to the growing chaos around them. Commander Zara Kovacs interfaced rapidly with the pavilion's diplomatic communication systems. Her cybernetic eye calculated potential conflict scenarios with frightening precision. "Stand down," she transmitted to the gravitational nexus delegation. "All presentations are subject to the Galactic Symposium's established protocols." The mysterious suited figure from earlier moved closer to the central platform. For the first time, a hint of communication emerged, a wavelength that suggested both warning and intrigue. Xantok, the silicon-based life form, rotated its crystalline body to maintain continuous observation. "The drink is more than a beverage," the suited figure finally spoke, their voice a complex harmonic that seemed to bypass traditional audio receptors. "It is a message. A challenge. A bridge between understanding." Diplomatic tensions escalated. The bioluminescent coral delegation began to pulse with warning colors, deep crimsons and threatening ultraviolets that suggested imminent conflict. Their representative's body shifted from translucent to opaque, a clear sign of defensive posturing. Lyra recognized the growing risk. "This competition was meant to celebrate diversity," she announced, her voice cutting through the rising tension. "Not to create conflict." But conflict seemed inevitable. The quantum resonance elixir had become more than a drink, it was a potential weapon, a diplomatic incident waiting to explode. Commander Kovacs activated a series of diplomatic dampening fields. The technology was experimental, designed to reduce emotional escalation and promote rational dialogue. Subtle energy waves began to pulse through the astral pavilion, attempting to calm the rising diplomatic storm. The Nexus 9 representative remained enigmatic. "Our elixir is an invitation," they stated, "not a threat. It represents the possibility of transcending current limitations of communication and understanding." Xantok's prismatic body began to oscillate with what could only be described as intellectual excitement. "Fascinating," the silicon-based lifeform communicated. "A drink that challenges not just physiological boundaries, but diplomatic ones." As the conflict threatened to spiral, an unexpected intervention came from an unlikely source. The storm weaver from the methane clouds of Rigel 9 projected a complex wind pattern that seemed to momentarily freeze the escalating tensions. "Observe," the storm weaver communicated, "but do not judge. Understanding comes from experiencing, not from fear." The judges, a diverse panel representing different physiological and cognitive spectra, began their deliberations. The quantum resonance elixir had transformed the competition from a simple drink challenge into a complex diplomatic negotiation. Commander Kovacs caught Lyra's eye and gave a slight nod. The real challenge of the ultimate cosmic drink challenge was just beginning, and it had nothing to do with the drinks themselves. The astral pavilion hummed with tension, possibility, and the promise of extraordinary revelations. As the diplomatic tensions began to settle, a new phase of the competition emerged. The final round approached, a challenge that would push the boundaries of scientific understanding, cultural expression, and interstellar cooperation. The astral pavilion's central chamber reconfigured itself, holographic displays tracking the complex preparations of the remaining competitors. Commander Zara Kovacs observed the transforming space, her cybernetic systems parsing multiple layers of information simultaneously. Lyra Mbenga discovered an unexpected connection between the competing delegations. Her xenoanthropological research revealed subtle patterns, a hidden dialogue that transcended the obvious conflict of the drink challenge. The mysterious suited figure, still unnamed and largely enigmatic, began to prepare their final entry. Their preparation station defied conventional understanding, a workspace that seemed to exist partially in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Final preparation phase initiating, the pavilion's AI announced. Quantum stability protocols at maximum. Xantok, the silicon-based lifeform, communicated an intricate analysis. The crystal-like being had been collecting data throughout the competition, building a comprehensive understanding that went far beyond simple beverage evaluation. The Stormweaver from Rigel 9 approached the central platform, its gaseous form condensing into a more defined shape. The true challenge, its wind patterns translated, is not in the drink itself, but in the intention behind its creation. A holographic display began to track the molecular compositions of the remaining entries. The quantum resonance elixir from earlier still dominated the scientific discussions, a drink that seemed to challenge the very fundamental laws of physics and perception. Commander Kovacs noticed a subtle shift in the pavilion's energy signatures. Something was brewing, and it was more complex than any single drink could represent. The bioluminescent choral delegation began a preparation that looked more like a living dance than a scientific procedure. Their entry seemed to breathe, to pulse with an intelligence that defied traditional understanding of beverage creation. Preparation protocols reaching critical phase, the AI announced, its tone suggesting a level of anticipation that bordered on sentience. Lyra Mbenga found herself at the center of an unfolding scientific marvel. Each delegation was no longer simply presenting a drink, they were offering a comprehensive statement about their species, their understanding of reality, and their potential for communication. The suited figure's preparation reached a critical moment. The preparation station began to emit a frequency that made even the most advanced technological systems flutter. Xantok's prismatic body oscillated with intense curiosity. Caution, the pavilion systems warned. Dimensional synchronization approaching critical threshold. Commander Kovacs activated her most advanced scanning protocols. The readings defied conventional scientific understanding. Whatever was being prepared transcended the concept of a mere beverage. The Stormweaver projected a complex wind pattern that seemed to resonate with the preparation process. Convergence, its communication suggested, is more important than competition. As the final preparations reached their peak, the astral pavilion seemed to hold its collective breath. The ultimate cosmic drink challenge had become something far more significant, a moment of potential transformation for all participating species. The line between drink, scientific experiment, and diplomatic communication had completely dissolved. Something extraordinary was about to happen. The moment of final revelation arrived with a silence more profound than any sound could capture. Commander Zara Kovacs stood at the epicenter of what would later be described as the most significant moment in interstellar diplomatic history. Her cybernetic systems struggled to process the cascading information, neural networks working at impossible speeds to comprehend the unfolding phenomenon. The mysterious suited figure, who had remained an enigma throughout the competition, began a final preparation that defied all existing scientific understanding. Their beverage preparation transcended traditional molecular chemistry, existing simultaneously as a liquid, a wave of pure energy, and something entirely beyond current comprehension. Lyra Mbenga realized this was more than a drink challenge. It was a universal conversation, a method of communication that surpassed language, technology, and even the fundamental barriers between different forms of consciousness. Dimensional convergence imminent, the astral pavilion's AI announced, its voice a complex harmonic that seemed to vibrate through multiple realities simultaneously. Xantok, the silicon-based life form, pulsed with an intensity that suggested complete intellectual rapture. Its crystalline body began to resonate with the preparations, creating a bridge of understanding that connected different forms of sentience. The Stormweaver from Rigel 9 projected a wind pattern that seemed to contain the collective wisdom of its entire species. Transformation, its communication suggested, is the ultimate beverage. As the final preparations reached their climax, the boundaries between the competing delegations began to blur. The bioluminescent coral representatives, the gravitational nexus delegation, the methane cloud beings, all seemed to merge into a single, complex consciousness. Commander Kovacs activated her most advanced protective protocols. Whatever was happening transcended a simple drink competition. This was a moment of potential universal transformation. The suited figure's preparation reached its zenith. The beverage, if it could even be called that, began to manifest properties that defied all known scientific understanding. It appeared to be simultaneously a drink, a communication method, and a bridge between different forms of existence. Final stage initiating, the AI announced. Caution, unprecedented dimensional synchronization detected. Lyra Mbenga understood in that moment that the true purpose of the competition was never about creating the strongest drink. It was about finding a universal language of understanding, a method of communication that could bridge the vast differences between species, consciousness, and entire civilizations. The Stormweaver's final communication resonated through the astral pavilion: we are more than our differences. We are the potential of collective existence. The beverage, the final entry, began to spread. Not as a liquid, but as a wave of pure potential. It touched each delegate, each technological system, each conscious being present. And in that moment, everything changed. The ultimate cosmic drink challenge was complete. But what had been created was far more than any drink. It was a moment of universal connection, a breakthrough that would redefine the very concept of communication, understanding, and existence itself. Commander Kovacs, Lyra Mbenga, Zantok, and every other being in the astral pavilion stood transformed, witnesses to a moment that would be remembered for millennia to come. The universe had just taken a collective breath.